This is Lisa Ann Warder, Hathcote King again. The reason I'm back on is to continue the Simplify conversation because apparently I'm being simplified. Have been since April of 2019. It started before then, I'm pretty sure. I just didn't notice it, and you didn't hear the people talking outside trying to simplify you, telling you derogatory remarks, saying things about you that no one's ever said before, trying to defile you and degrade you. Make you non-credible, where no one will trust you or want to be around you or anything like that again. My ex, Robert Wayne Richmond of Kellyville, Oklahoma, beat me, rolled me out the door, pulled my hair, left my foot solid black for over a month and a half, crushed my phone because of the weird shit that was going on out there. Cars that were still running were being given to them, furniture showing up from nowhere, all kinds of furniture, and you go out there and it'd never be the same furniture. Jewelry that they couldn't afford, coins they couldn't afford, people's identifications. I even saw a ghost, I thought, out there, because I've not ever seen a ghost out there, but I kept seeing this little girl and this man in the hallway. And tools, tons and tons of tools, laptops, phones, the little iPads, you name it, and it was out there, and those people can't afford that kind of stuff. Threatening to kill me. I've apparently got a hit out on me. Somebody trying to hire someone to kill me because of my inheritance. My mother told me that would happen. And I still can't, and I've followed all the proper judicial steps. I've done everything correctly. Went through my little chain of command even. Someone has stolen my identity, so I started looking for clues because the police wouldn't help me. They kept telling me I was crazy. Maybe I needed to check into a mental institution. I've not ever had a mental problem in my life. Not ever. And I still don't. I'm on disability now. For COPD and a few other things that are wrong with me. I have cancer, last stages of emphysema. I have an appointment with a pulmonary doctor next week, as a matter of fact. And these people just keep browbeating you and browbeating you and browbeating you, wanting you to give them either sex, your money, or telling you they're going to kill you. I'm tired of being threatened. I'm tired of the police using these people to threaten me and the police themselves trying to scare me. I haven't done anything. I don't go anywhere. I sit at home all the time. I don't have a car. So I even stay in my house. I don't bother my neighbors. I don't go outside. And yet they still continue to do this. And right now, if you can hear it in the background, they're doing it long distance. If you listen real close. My granddaughter is missing. I saw her. When all three of my children stopped showing up within 3 months of each other, something's wrong. Because they don't just do that and cut off all ties with me. Well, this Simplify crap has all made me homeless, carless, and penniless for almost 2 years. Until October 22nd, when the Cherokee Nation helped me move into this house in Wagner, Oklahoma, in the Bollinger edition, where all these people like to simplify and won't listen to the police, because the police just act like they're taking a report and they're going to do something, but they don't do anything because everybody hollers, McGirt, McGirt, McGirt. And you got people getting out of jail that were already in jail for a long time, and people getting set up by certain individuals. One of them's running around and she frames you for false crimes. And people are signing sentences for this, 17 years, 22 years, but the people aren't dead. They're still alive. And just like in Jailbirds or any bird or any paper that shows your photos, they're moving inmates from jail to jail. I guess to get state funding, to keep them running, and I don't know why they're doing it. But they're using this Simplify in the jail to give people distemper and saying that they're doing this, and they try to tell these people they're police officers, they're above the law, they're in some special program, when basically all they get is money off their fines, a get out of jail free card, and a privilege to go around torturing people with the police officers' permission. And our judicial system is set in place. They take an oath to protect and serve their public, not harm them or threaten them or go around trying to torment them and take things away from them. I have head rights coming through the Cherokee Nation with the land and mineral rights, and I also have VA benefits coming from my dad, insurance benefits coming from both of them, insurance coming from my mom. I'm dealing with about 6 different agencies right now, and the jails are a part of this because of another probate and because of this probate, because both of my parents were civil servants. I've got people lying about me, and the thing is when you're crazy, most people that are crazy hear voices inside their head, and those voices don't know who each other are. They don't know when they're talking to that person, and that they don't communicate with each other. And the voices that I was hearing they're outside of my house, or coming, they're piped through the PA system or through a speaker or somewhere, and I know over half of them, and they know each other, and they're all communicating, and people around me are communicating with them also. It's been told that I have an Irish mob hit out on my ass. Oh, I apologize for that. Out on me, and has to do with UABs and gangs, I guess, or gang members. Somebody trying to make me out to be a gang member, which I'm not. I'm not a gang member. I'm not gang affiliated of any kind. Trying to prove that I'm a prostitute, human trafficker, all kinds of things that are not true, and things that have not ever been said about me before in my life. And I have went through all the proper channels, even reporting to the FBI and OSBI, Lieutenant Governor, the U.S. Marshal Services. I reported my identity stolen because along the way here, somehow or another, I discovered about 7 counties, maybe 8, that have an identity theft going on, and apparently the police are part of it. Besides the identity theft, here in Wagner, like I said, my utilities, I pay them in full. Every month they keep wanting to shut them off. I withheld my rent this month because of the simple fact that it was my landlord's tenants and other people in this neighborhood that are doing this to me. And it happens no matter where I go, they're following me, and I have no idea why. I didn't even know what Simplify in the jail was until I reported a murder for hire, and Creek County held me on 2 warrants from another county and didn't even pay attention to the murder for hire. But I knew I was not lying, and I knew I was telling the truth when I saw the very people that are doing this to me in the emergency room at the same time I was at St. John Sapulpa. I've got people keeping my grandkids from me, keeping my kids from me, trying to ruin everything in my life once and for all. And that's not going to happen again. They sold my house on somebody else's tax lien. They had no right to do that because my parents' house had a HELOC loan on it, which is it's a line of credit, a home equity line of credit, and you cannot foreclose on that kind of loan. It should have just went into my name, which it did go into my name, but they sold it anyway. And I didn't even know the people they sold it for that were on the tax lien. And nobody will listen to me about it. Nobody will help me with it. And I can't seem to get a bus out of the state of Oklahoma. I have seen, in Creek County, I knew I was telling the truth when I saw the people at the store. I also saw 2 masked men in Kellyville with more than 3, but 3 white stripes above the right eye that went straight up and down, and what looked like zebra stripes on each cheek of each face on each side. And I would not have seen them had I not heard a woman screaming for help and went to ask her if she needed help because I was on the road walking home all the way back to Catoosa. And I would not have noticed them had they not looked at me, and it scared me, and I heard the woman gurgling. There was a pond there, and then when I went back about a month later or 2 months later, there was no pond there, but you could still see where the water was at one end. And I also saw those men running toward a truck and a trailer with approximately 7 men standing around it, 3 of them looking at me. And they were from Kellyville, light redheaded or blondish red hair, all of them. And when I noticed there were no more minorities in Kellyville, there were no more natives, there were no more Hispanics, no more blacks, no more mixed, I started paying attention to the different things that were going on. So some of it was probably set up by the Simplify thing for me to see, because that's where I learned what Simplify, what they were doing. I don't know why they do it, but other than to give you distemper and make you look so bad that you can't get your inheritance, because they want to hang on to it, the police departments. I went to see a probate attorney through the Cherokee Nation in McAllister, and on my way home, someone tried to run me off the road. Tried to clip me 3 or 4 times. I did 90 all the way. The highway patrol went right past us, just shined his spotlight like nothing was in the difference. You know, that's how I knew it's all police officers doing this. And basically it stems from one police officer in Catoosa, Oklahoma. That was the acting police chief of Catoosa, Oklahoma, named Spencer. I reported him also to, I want to say AIB because that's what they say on the crime shows, but that's not what they call it here. It's got a different name. But I called the number and reported him 4 times. I've reported the Postal Service, the United States Postal Service, at least 4 times. And this still continues to happen. These simplifiers are in the courthouses, they're in the utility companies, they're in the grocery stores, they're in whole towns. I have somebody trying to use my ID or use my name and my ID, because right here in Wagner there are 5 Lisa Ann Warders or Warder King, and there was just one of me. They are stealing people's identities, stealing everything that they have. Well, they go around, even in the motels. In the motels, there's a motel in Muskogee that I stayed in. I don't remember the name of it because my daughter paid the bill, but you don't even need your key to get in there because that latch doesn't even pop out. All you have to do is slide a card up there and they're right in your room, because they took part of my paperwork when I was in that room. I've had my in-laws involved in this, or my parents' in-laws involved in this, attorneys, crooked attorneys that don't want to do their jobs. I keep getting the runaround. I won a probate in Delaware County for my grandmother, and still I'm getting the cold shoulder and the runaround on that. We're beating around the bush. Nobody wants to help me do anything, even though I went through all the proper channels. I've contacted senators, I've contacted representatives, the lieutenant governor, and we also have what's called hog calling. Hog calling is the hunting of human beings for sport. And somebody has either paid someone to hunt me, or they have paid them to kill me, or maybe both. But I do know that I'm not going back to Kellyville. When you have stolen cars, gun flashes in cars, and stolen furniture, stolen tools, stolen jewelry, stolen coins, all in a person's home and in an area right there that those people don't make but $400 or $600 a month, and they can't afford that. And when you find a man's IDs, credit cards, his bank cards, everything in a house, and he's not there and he doesn't live there, then something's wrong. And you've got someone burning the beds that were in one room, digging holes to put their trash and stuff in instead of burning it because they're out in the country. Something's wrong. Even in Catoosa, they were shutting my bills off before they were due, trying to make me lose everything I have. And it's the police and somebody else calling and cutting them off. And then you have a lady named Misha Solomon. Misha Solomon or Misha Allison. She goes from mission to mission, creating new stories and getting this Simplify going and rolling in order for people to give up what they have, or their mineral rights, or anything else they have. I went to the DMV here and tried to get my ID. The lady just flat out told me it didn't matter what I did. I would not ever get an ID in the city of Wagner. Not ever. No matter what I did. every time the police came, they take a report. I've reported everything that was missing. Showed them my Native American card, my Indian card, that I'm a registered citizen and member of the Cherokee Nation Eastern Band of Oklahoma, and that I am federally recognized. That is a federally recognized ID. I've always used all of my names because some places that I've had to deal with won't change them. They just leave them what they were at the time. And there must be a reason for them not changing it because they just refuse to change it. So I use all my names. So whoever thought that all my names would make me not be able to get a state ID, because that computer plainly states all the names that you use. And I've had people move into my home that have just tore it up. They move out, they hound you to come back and come back and come back. These people are saying they're from other places, but they're not, because I looked them up. They want to call me a snitch for testifying against them. I'm willing to testify in any court against any of them about what happened, because I'm not afraid to stand up and fight for what's mine. And this needs to stop. People can't be going around doing this to people. You know, I understand that Simplify might be an honor through the military, which I'm not too sure that it is, because it's still distemper, but they don't do that anymore in the military, from what I understand. And I talked to a Marine in Tulsa, and he said that it sounded to him like there was someone with a military background that had put their own little spin on it within the jail. And that's basically what has happened. And we all know that the jail system doesn't have anything to do with the military. And when you have jailers in Creek County looking up probates on the computer to see if your name's on there, and stuffing stuff in your pants to make you look like you shit your pants, and doing things to you that are not proper. I have a witness as to what happened the day I reported the murder for hire. I busted a glass out. That's why they took me to the emergency room, because I'd been locked in that room for 4